And the polls have been open now since 6 a.m., about 6 hours. Eyewitness News reporter Roger Suzanne just spoke with Secretary of the State Denise Merrill, and he's joining us now live in New Britain. So, Roger, how's it looking so far? We had any issues?
Yeah, good afternoon, Kara. So far, so good. According to the Secretary of the State, there have not been any major issues, so it's been a relatively smooth election day. In some ways, that's not really surprising because we do not expect strong turnout throughout the state, of course, because this is not a presidential election year. But there are definitely quite a few local races of interest, including where we are right now. We are in New Britain, and you can see folks are standing outside the polling place here at Slade Middle School in support of their different candidates in the mayoral race. This is Mayor Erin Stewart, of course, a Republican. This is one of her sternest tests that she's ever faced as she goes up against State Rep and Democrat Bobby Sanchez. But the truth is, no matter who you are voting for today or where you're voting, there are a few things you should know before you actually do head on out to the polls. This morning, one of the first voters to cast a ballot at the International University for Religion and Peace polling place in Hartford happened to be Connecticut's top election official. Of course, it's understandable that Secretary of the State Denise Merrill would want to vote early because she has a long day ahead. Remember, the polls in Connecticut won't close until 8 o'clock tonight, and as long as you're in line by that deadline, you will be allowed to cast your ballot. Also, if you haven't registered to vote yet, you still have some time. Connecticut, after all, does allow same-day registration. Just drop by your local town hall and bring an ID. Absentee ballots are also due at 8 o'clock tonight. At this point, your best bet is to use your town's secure absentee ballot drop box location. It's way too early to have a good idea of how many people will vote today, although Secretary Merrill says turnout is typically low in local election years like this one. But there is a positive for people who do show up to vote. You have much more influence when there are fewer fellow voters.
To me, they're the most important elections, especially if you care about your schools, your roads, your town. And in Connecticut, we don't have counties. We vote by town. So you really do have an influence, and your vote really matters.
And by the way, voters are encouraged to wear face masks at the polling place, but that is not actually required. But if you do show up without a mask, it is possible that poll workers will either ask you to vote outside or they will provide you with a free mask themselves. Reporting live in New Britain, I'm Roger Suzanne, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.